Hi everybody. I would say summer 2016 has definitely kicked into effect. We welcome you to another episode of the Garden Girl. Stay tuned because today is going to be kind of a potpourri or mishmash of a lot of different things I'm hearing from everybody, whether they're problems or they're landscape things that they're wondering about or bugs and diseases. So we're going to touch base on kind of what's going on here in June. So stay tuned, we'll be right back.
I think the hands-on aspect is going to give you an opportunity to explore, find out what you're good at, what you like, and you're not going to have mountains of debt. What you're going to have is a marketable skill that even if you don't love it, you can use that to pay to go on to college and get that degree. And we've got a number of students that do that. They're very mature. I think we're a great hands-on exploration base.
For clean air you can breathe in a clean-looking home exterior, Ultra Clean. Locally owned and operated, offers both air duct cleaning and pressure washing for your home. Give them a call at 330-243-3996 to help clean up the air you and your family breathe and your home's outside appearance.
Hi everybody and welcome back. So in this first part, we're going to cover some of the stuff that goes on with annuals and some vegetables. And the reason why I want to cover it is because it's really pertinent right now. I know a lot of people have gone out, they've gotten their hanging baskets, or we've put them together down here. You know, they've got their pots, they've got their landscape in. Okay, now it's time to start taking care of it. You know, it always looks good the first week. Or we're into their warm season veggies. Which still, you can still put seed in. My gosh, you know, your zucchini, your pumpkins, your cucumbers, a lot of them, 3 days, and you'll see them pop. They're really easy to germinate. So a lot of these come in with still what we call their seed leaves on. So one of the things I'm going to show you, just so you know, is we've had a lot of heat here. And I know that a lot of you guys have petunias. Petunias are very popular. And one of the things that can happen on really hot days, I mean, when we're pushing a very high UV index, the sun is blaring, and we've got humidity, and we have 90-degree, 88-degree temps, plants are going to kind of do what I call a heat wilt. Basically, and what happens is a lot of you guys will be like, oh my gosh, it's wilting, I need to give it water. And you don't stick your finger in and check. Well, if you did, a lot of times what you're gonna find is that if you look at these two here, which this one here is an extreme, but what happens a lot of times is you'll see this little bit of wilt. Not all of them will do it, some will, some won't, it depends. But what happens is you guys will go in and water thinking it's dry, and not realize that it really isn't dry, it's wet. And that's the last thing you want to do, because a plant can only turn over so much water and transpire or respire, basically perspiration, sweat it out fast enough. When that happens, this is where the heat wilt comes in. And I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, if you walk outside at 9 o'clock, once the temps have dropped, and that plant might be in a little bit of a shadier area, whether it's on your porch or your deck, or you actually pick it up and put that pot or basket in a shaded area, it'll pop back up within hours, sometimes even less than an hour. So please be aware that you're not overwatering things. Now granted, you know, just like this morning here at the shop, I got in here, everything got watered. I knew everything that was out in that blazing sun was definitely gonna need it. It was gonna go through it during the day. So of course, I watered it very well. Something else that comes up with, and everybody goes, is something wrong with them? Is something wrong with mine? When it comes to these baby plants that we're starting from seed and getting started from seed, everybody goes, well, it's dying. It's dying. No, it's not dying. Remember how in previous episodes and even seasons we've talked about cotyledons, the seed leaves. Well, this is their nutrition zone. It's kind of like a mother's milk with colostrum. Similar. It's the first bit of food. These, you better hope they die off. And they will. They're tender, they're young. You better hope they die off because the nutrients are going right back into them. So all you have to do is simply just pick them away, use your nippers, nip them away. That's it. But that's very normal. Even if you guys are starting seeds, I know a lot of you guys have been like, well, the bottom leaves on the tomato are getting yellow or on the pepper. Those chances are those seed leaves. And a lot of times that's what happens. So there's nothing wrong with your plant. They should normally die back from the tip back on these round ones. And you'll notice a lot with the watermelons, these cucumbers, pumpkins, gourds, all that stuff, they will start to die back. Zucchini, there's another one. So let them go. When they're brown, let them take their food in. When they're brown, just pick it all off. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. If for some reason you did put yours in too soon and got nipped with that last bit of cold weather we had, again, you can definitely pop some seed in the ground. Mother Nature has its way of working out. So they will catch up. It won't be the end of the world. And sometimes things do better when they're not transplanted anyhow, like corn. And if you don't have your corn in, you better get it in because it is, we are after Memorial Day here. Now, another thing you're going to see on some annuals, and this happens too, again, heat, a lot of different things combined. You'll think there's a disease or something wrong, okay? Sometimes when things, depending on how they're grown, in greenhouses or kept, most greenhouses still have like a whitish colored cloth over it. Well, that still filters, that blocks a little bit of the light. A lot of times plants can't get it. So when you get something in and you find that it's bleaching a little bit, don't worry about it. Do not worry about it. It's just kind of like when we come out in the sun for the first time and you get a sunburn. That's all it is. That's simply all it is. These guys are just getting acclimated because as you can see, all the leaves underneath that were shaded were perfectly fine. So, and another thing, I could have done this myself, which I would know better, but I could have possibly done this too, watering. If I accidentally splashed some water up here on the leaves while I was watering, that can do it. Again, so it goes back to when I always say, get out there and water early in the morning. Please water early in the morning. Give them a good drink early in the morning. So in case of this, you can take two choices. Leave it alone for a couple days and eventually it will start turning brown. You can pick it off just to keep the other ones a little bit shaded. But you can have this on anything. I've seen petunias do it. I've seen shrubs do it. So it's not a big deal. So I hope this helps with a few of the things that people have, kind of came to me with and I know get questioned a lot. So I really hope this helps. All right, so stay tuned. When we come back, it's about to get buggy because bugs are awful this year. So when we come back, I'm going to give you some tips and some tricks on the bug problem.
For fastidious librarian Emily Skinner, each day was fueled by thorough preparation for events to come. Well, somewhere along the way, Emily went right on living. But you see, with the help of her Raymond James financial advisor, she had planned for every eventuality, which meant she continued to have the means to live on, even at the ripe old age of 187. Life well planned. See what a Raymond James advisor can do for you.
Hi, I'm TV2 Sports Talk's Bill Morgan. Some people are outstanding at playing sports, And then there's me. While we at TV2 Sports Talk may have never been all-state on the field, we are Tuscarawas County's MVP when it comes to local television sports talk and play-by-play. Catch TV2 Sports Talk Wednesday nights at 7 and Friday afternoons at 5 on DMG Channel 2.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Okay, like I said, it's about to get buggy. You know, I personally loved that we had a mild winter. I thought it was the best thing ever because I'm not a cool weather person. I can't do anything outside. I freeze easy. But I think we're kind of paying for it. And in more ways than one, than just the 17-year locusts that are out there. I have noticed there is a lot more wasps. I mean, everybody's been complaining about the wasps and the bees. They seem to come out early, and they've been worse. Ants have been bad, just a multitude of everything. And of course, there are a lot of bugs that absolutely love plants. Love them. I get it just like everybody else. Greenhouses get them. Your landscape's going to get them sooner or later if they haven't yet. So a couple of things is, how do you know if things are buggy? Well, one, we do what's called scouting. It's basically like a scout. I have to go around and check things. You know, you obviously are going to want to look for any holes in the leaves, chew marks, even specks, because even those little flea beetles, they can, the little beetles, they'll make specks. And you think like that maybe it's a nutrient deficiency or a bacterial problem. It's really not. It's just the little tiny beetles. So, you know, when you check them, one thing you'll know with a lot of your annuals, even some of your perennials, they're really predisposed to aphids. And that seems to be the common problem. It's a problem every year, no matter what. It doesn't matter. Doesn't mean anybody's a good grower, bad grower, good landscaper, bad landscaper. They can come into your garden in a minute overnight. So you need to be aware of that. But you got to figure out how to get rid of them. Well, one of the first and easiest ways we like to is scout. If you find them, most of the time you can pick them suckers off. And where you're going to find them a lot is underneath the leaf and at the tips. Aphids love tips, especially on million bells. Oh my God, they love million bells. So be aware of that they can get on the tips. And you'll notice a good telltale with the million bells, and how I can always tell, is it's like you see flowers turning over way quicker. They're dying way quicker. Your bloom, your color goes down like fast. That's when you know you need to look at them. And they are going to be tiny green little things. You'll know them though. They'll be on the stem and they ain't part of the leaf or the stem. But look at your tips. If you see them, there's a couple organic ways you can get rid of them. One, if it's early enough in the morning and not in the middle of the day where you're going to sunburn something or fry it, spray it with water. A lot of them you can spray right off. So that's one way. Picking them off and squishing them. I try to do that just to make sure they're off. Insecticidal soap. This is another one. It's been around for a long, long, long time. That's all it is. It's just your basic, you know how we say the soapy water. If you are going to do this, please, either don't do it when that thing's gonna start cooking. You can fry the leaves. So do it either really early in the morning or, in this case, even in the evening. It seems to work, doesn't seem to ask for any funguses to come on, but it allows it to sit in. And again, you've got to make sure you're spraying the whole stem and the underneath of the leaf, and that you're getting in the tops. That's the biggest thing, because if it doesn't hit them, they're not gonna go anywhere. Another one that you can use, and this will work for a wide array, even ants. If you've got ants around your house, earwigs, the aphids, the beetles, the cabbage loopers, squash vine borers. I know when you do the pumpkins and the squash, you got to watch out for them. A lot of times, well, sometimes the squash vine borers, it's a day late and $1 short by the time you figure it out. This is a simple powder. I know I've maybe mentioned it on a couple of the episodes before, possibly, but if you're not going to go back and go in the reruns, well, then I'm going to have to bring it up again. So this is diatomaceous earth, and a lot of you it may sound familiar to you because people are actually taking teaspoons of it, throwing it in their drink, and drinking it for their hair and skin. People are feeding it to their dogs. They're also using it on their dogs to combat fleas as a powder. It is totally organic, and that's the nice thing. So especially with your veggie crops and the things that you're going to put in your mouth, I would strongly suggest this versus like your 7 Dust or your synthetic dusts that are not organic, because it's gonna, I'm away from that. And there's a lot of systemics you can use that aren't organic. Systemics are great, again, if you're not eating them. So you need to lean more towards this or to an organic method if it's on your herbs, your fruits, your vegetables. But the systemics are nice. They're usually a one-hit wonder. They can be put down around the soil depending on what type it is, but you always need to read the directions, or it's something that can be sprayed. But that would be fine for like your shrubs and stuff. But the diatomaceous earth, it's simply a dust. And I mean a fine dust. A little goes a long way. Just remember, if it rains, it's out of there. So you're gonna have to reapply. But it will work in your house, on your dogs, on your horses, on your plants. And what it does, it just cuts them. It's such small, sharp particles that to us it doesn't do anything, but to the bugs, it slices them, they dehydrate and die. So I hope that this has helped a little bit here with giving you a couple options with the buggy stuff. You can always get a hold of me. I'm always here. So you can always email me, call me, text me, I don't care. So stay tuned. We've got another section because now we're moving in perennial season. So we will be right back, and we're going to go over some of the cool perennials and what you need to look for.
For clean air you can breathe in a clean-looking home exterior, Ultra Clean. Locally owned and operated, offers both air duct cleaning and pressure washing for your home. Give them a call at 330-243-3996 to help clean up the air you and your family breathe and your home's outside appearance.
For fastidious librarian Emily Skinner, each day was fueled by thorough preparation for events to come. Well, somewhere along the way, Emily went right on living. But you see, with the help of her Raymond James financial advisor, she had planned for every eventuality, which meant she continued to have the means to live on, even at the ripe old age of 187. Life well planned. See what a Raymond James advisor can do for you.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Okay, so to me, you know, April and May, everybody's got spring fever. Everybody's running around for Mother's Day. Everybody's trying to get their vegetables together. You know, nobody wants to run out of stuff, and they want to make sure they get what they want, and they're putting together their pots and containers, which I know a lot of you guys, just from being down here, a lot of you guys have been doing that the last, you know, couple weeks here since the weather really broke again. Now is when we really move into perennial season. This is when you're going to see a lot of your perennials, your roses, your shrubs, everything really start to come together, because you can pretty much put them in the ground, they're good to go. But there is a couple key things. You know, a lot of people say spring and fall are the best time. Well, the main reason for that is, one, they can handle the colder soil temps. So that's one reason why you can actually do your perennials before your annuals, which is totally true. However, as long as you are not neglectful, I plant stuff, and I still will be. I'll still probably be dividing stuff, moving stuff around. I'm synonymously known for moving perennials around. If I want to add something in and it's not the right color with something, but I just have to have that plant, I'll dig something up and move it. The key factor is making sure, since they then are not established, you've got to water them. Now, you go to any store down here, I don't care where it is, but the smaller the container, obviously it's a younger baby, although this one's very large. You know, the root system is not going to be as big, but it has plenty of time to establish. You just can't let it dry. Whereas, you know, you have something in a gallon, that's all the further down that its root system is. So it buys you a little extra time when it comes to watering and watching them. But I've always thought that it was more than fine to do it in the summer. I mean, it's more enjoyable, it's nice out. I'm not gonna go outside and start planting in the ground when it's freezing. And I'm also not gonna start planting in the ground and then have to worry about covering it, because at least with the baskets and the pots, when it's cooler out, you can move them in real quick or slide flats into the garage or whatnot, you know, until we're past that frost date and things look good and not sketchy. With perennials, I wait. I always do mine later. And it works out fine for me. But again, you just got to keep it watered. A couple of the ones I am going to show you, and it's because if you're at dinner or somebody's talking to you or something, and they say, well, you know, just plant some sedum. They're really drought tolerant. Well, they are. They're one of the better ones that's out there. Well, is sedum? No, not even remotely. We have, let me move this guy over to the side here. You're looking at this and probably going, oh, well, that's just a little sedum. Oh, that's a bigger sedum. We need this one. Okay, the autumn joy is going to get just as big. These two are just in different stages of their life. They were started at different times. So be aware of that. Even though you're taking home a smaller container, you have to make sure you're reading the tags, because, or the bench cards. If the place has, I try to do bench cards because it's so much easier to see a picture of the mature plant and find out if it's really going to work for you in your landscape. But be aware that just because this is bigger than this doesn't mean that's the end result. Sedum is also probably one of the coolest ones for succulent gardens, as ground covers, because if it's a hillside, you can't get to it very much to water, and you need something really low maintenance, this is your guy, because this is just one red type, but it's amazing. It will cover, you can keep it cut, you can let it go, but they are so colorful. There's blue, there's yellow, you can get a whole mix of colors in. And the nice thing is they're so cheap. I mean, they're easy to propagate, they're so cheap. It's not an expensive project per se to get into. You know, last but not least, a lot of people overlook yarrow. Yarrow's great. I'm sorry, but a lot of people are like, well, it's like that weed, that Queen Anne's lace. Yeah, no. I mean, one, everybody complains about deer. Yarrow's one of the ones that's more disease resistant. I'm not going to say nothing. Bambi's never going to munch on them, because I've seen roses be munched on, they shouldn't be. But these are awesome, awesome, and they're drought tolerant and they'll take the full blaring sun. Another one that is so good around our area is dianthus. The cheddar pinks, they've been around a long time. They stay lower. They're a very neat, compact, mounded looking plant. But man, their flower power is awesome. They will bloom on and off as long as you deadhead them all summer long into fall. And the marmalades. I know the marmalades, that's a little different. Yes, I know everybody probably has the regular black-eyed Susan. I won't even carry it here because you can go to your neighbors and get a start for that matter, so why buy it? You know, there is different kinds of rudbeckia that give that interesting color. And my favorite, I know a lot of people have the salvia. Well, not all of them. This is actually what's called purple rain. And purple rain is going to be way different than a lot of your salvias. The foliage is different, the flower color is different, and the mounded habit is different. But again, you can get these cheap. Now, is this going to stay like this? No. This guy's going to get about this big around. The leaves are going to mound about that tall, and then you're going to have spikes after spikes after spikes. Gorgeous plant. So I just kind of wanted to touch base on some, and we're going to keep doing this a little bit on each episode. I'm going to introduce you to some of these ones that love the sun, love the tolerance. So I really hope you guys learned a couple things. Do not forget, if you missed the previous episodes, you got to get over to WJRTV2.com, click on the Garden Girl, and they have all my previous episodes listed there for you. And don't forget, we always air our new episodes Wednesday at 5 o'clock, and if you don't catch it then, you can catch it Friday at 7 or Saturday at 9 a.m. Well, everybody, happy planting, wear your sunscreen, and enjoy this gorgeous weather.